It's Thursday, March 26th. In the headlines, digital trade growth prompts new focus on measurement and tax policy. In business news, central bank governor calls for upgraded economic indicators. Regionally, CARICOM chairman urges bold Africa-Caribbean economic partnerships. And in sports, we bring you up to speed with the latest happenings at Boys and Girls Championships. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Jamaica is taking a major step toward modernizing its public sector with the official launch of the Electronic Transactions Act and the National E-Transactions Policy. The initiative, announced by Ambassador Audrey Marks, Minister with Responsibility for Efficiency and Digital Transformation, at a post-cabinet briefing on Wednesday. It aims to make government services faster, more efficient, and fully digital, allowing citizens, businesses, and government agencies to securely sign and process documents electronically.
Today's launch of the Electronic Transactions Act and E-Transactions Policy as a national initiative represents another important and deliberate step in Jamaica's ongoing public sector transformation program.
She says with this move, citizens can now complete official forms online using electronic signatures, while businesses will benefit from faster interactions with government agencies.
In accordance with the Electronic Transactions Act, a signature or record shall not be denied legal effect solely because it is in an electronic form. The primary objectives of the policy are to establish a standardized, risk-based framework for the use of electronic signatures, promote authentication, integrity and accountability and auditability of electronic transactions, improve efficiency, business continuity, and reduce reliance on paper-based processes.
The rollout marks a significant shift for public service in Jamaica as electronic signatures move from optional to the standard, bringing convenience and efficiency to citizens, businesses, and government alike. The government is ramping up efforts to better track Jamaica's growing digital economy as more business shifts online and across borders. While closing the 2026-2027 budget debate this week, Finance Minister Fivel Williams said the move is not just about revenue collection, but ensuring policies are fair and based on accurate data.
Services, Madam Speaker, already accounts for a substantial share of Jamaica's GDP, and an increasing portion of this activity is taking place through digital and cross-border channels. This is not simply a matter of getting revenues, but of ensuring that our economic systems are properly equipped to understand these developments. We're therefore strengthening our capacity to better measure and interpret digital economic activity so that our policies remain fair, balanced, and grounded in accurate information.
She notes that Jamaica is also playing a leading role globally, currently chairing a United Nations task team focused on measuring digitalization and improving trade statistics.
This means the committee provides guidance, coordinates and standardizes business and trade statistics, focuses on areas like globalization, digitalization, and statistical capacity building in member states.
Minister Williams explains that digital trade is now classified in 3 categories, including goods ordered online and delivered physically, which remain subject to existing taxes at ports.
Let me say that the definition of digital trade has evolved to now where digital trade is defined as being digitally ordered and digitally delivered. Number 2, digitally ordered and physically delivered. And number 3, physically ordered and digitally delivered. Madam Speaker, definition number 2, which is digitally ordered and physically delivered, are goods that we know that come into Jamaica through our ports and are already subject to taxes and duties. Obviously, these will not be the subject of any further taxes and duties.
Meanwhile, the minister highlighted concerns about persons exploiting the de minimis policy to avoid taxes by splitting shipments. Under current rules, items valued at $100 or less remain duty-free, while anything above that threshold attracts full duties. Tax Administration Jamaica, TAJ, is reminding the public that select tax offices will open on month-end Saturdays, including March 28 at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., to make it easier for customers to do business. The locations include Constant Spring in St. Andrew, as well as offices in Lucy, Falmouth, Montego Bay, Mandeville, Maypen, Morant Bay, and St. Anne's Bay. The Portmore office will also open with adjusted hours from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Services available will include motor vehicle transactions, driver's license renewals, property tax payments, TRN applications, and other tax payments. However, compliance and audit services will not be offered on Saturdays. TAJ is also encouraging customers to use its online platforms to pay fees, traffic tickets, and renew registrations in a bid to reduce long lines during the week. Every second counts when flames threaten lives and property. Today we go behind the sirens to show you the courage, skill, and daily challenges of today's firefighters in flames of duty. Life in Jamaica's fire service. From racing to emergency calls, battling unpredictable blazes, to training and preparing for the next call. This is a job that demands bravery and sometimes comes at personal cost. Part 1 of this feature takes you inside the fire station and tells us what it really takes to fight fire on the front lines.
Saving lives, protecting property. That is the motto of the Jamaica Fire Brigade, and we are here at the Yellows Fire Station to find out just what that entails. Every second counts in an emergency. Firefighters are trained to respond with speed and precision, aiming to arrive on the scene within minutes. From the moment a call comes in, they spring into action, gearing up, strategizing, and racing against time to save lives and property. It begs the question, what are the most common reasons for fires?
So, the most common reason for us to get a call is bushfires. We got a lot of bushfires, especially in the dry season. Now we're in one of that season. So you will see the truck going out about 2, 3, or 4 times per day, sometimes even 5 times.
It's a job that demands courage, but often comes with a cost. Firefighters put their lives on the line every time they respond to a call.
Each time I'm asked that question, there's one incident that just pop up in my mind. I got a call to a house fire, and people tend to retrofit the location of things in their house. And as firefighters, we have to have that in mind, that a bedroom can also be a kitchen. You know, that a bathroom can also be a kitchen. I went to this fire and I wasn't expecting a stove and a cylinder to be in a bedroom. While I was done in the set and I was near the window, just finish up putting on the face mask to go in, I realized that something was wrong with the set. So I just dressed back to, see what is happening with the set, and immediately a cylinder ruptured hit off the roof of the house, and I was not expecting the cylinder to be at that location. That was when I was younger on the job, so that teach me a lot. We have to be mindful that people will place different items in different areas that were not intended to. And that, to me, I always remember that incident, because if I had gone in, because I was planning to go in, probably it could have caused me some injury, probably death. Basically, when we run out of water, to leave the hydrant, it would have to be upon assessment to see if it is the wiser decision to go to an hydrant and come back, or to call backup. From the initial stage, once we do our assessment, we would know if we want backup or not. So we'll call in all the resources that we need from the get-go. So when a truck runs out of water, we'll go to an hydrant and then we come back to that scene. No, it is not. In the road code, I think it said that is 150 meters that you should park away from an hydrant. It is one of the most annoying things, because when you go to a hydrant to refill, remember, we have persons' livelihood, we have businesses at risk, and then we go to the nearest hydrant. Remember, we go to the nearest hydrant, and because that one is blocked by a motor vehicle, we'll have to go like another 2 miles or even more to access the next working hydrant. So it takes away a lot of time from the operation, which in that time, the house or whatever we are doing can completely be destroyed.
Thanks, Danita. You can hear more about the Jamaica Fire Brigade on PBCJ's White Matters next Monday at 8 p.m. Time now for the Business Report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing you the development shaping markets, capital access, and business decision-making across Jamaica and the region. Let's get into the stories that matter. Bank of Jamaica Governor Richard Byles has asserted that traditional indicators such as gross domestic product growth, asset expansion, profit growth, and market share are no longer sufficient to measure economic success in today's environment. Byles was recently speaking at the Caribbean CFO Summit, pointing out that resilience is now multidimensional and structural shocks rather than episodic. Byles recalled recent global and local challenges, including the COVID-19 pandemic and Hurricane Melissa, as clear reminders that volatility is now a permanent feature of economic life. However, he said Jamaica's building of its foreign reserves to record high levels, reducing the national debt, and entrenching a well-coordinated financial system stability framework have improved the country's ability to respond to shocks. Motorists should expect higher fuel prices at the pumps starting Thursday, March 26, as the latest ex-refinery costs from Petrojam take effect. Both grades of gasoline are up by $4.50 per litre, with 90 octane now selling for $175.32 and 87 octane at $167.88. Diesel prices have also risen. Automotive diesel will be $180.25 per litre, while ultra-low sulfur diesel climbs to $187.09. Kerosene will sell for $169.64 per litre, following a $4.50 increase, while propane and butane prices rise by $3.06 per litre at $80.11 and $89.33 respectively. Retailers and marketing companies will apply their markups on top of these new prices. For For the trading period of March 24, 2026, the most actively traded securities were Phosphorus Company Limited with 6,804,237 units, or 25.02% of market sales activity. Woodcats International Limited with 4,508,995 units, representing 16.58% of market sales activities. Indies Pharma Jamaica Limited with ordinary shares with 2,500,866 units, representing 9.20% of market sales activities. Investor activity remained concentrated in distribution, hardware services, and medical supply plays, signaling continued interest in dividend-producing and strategic assets. Turning to the foreign exchange market based on Bank of Jamaica data for March 25, 2026, Forex traders recorded significant activity with strong demand across major currencies. For the US dollar, trading margins reflected steady liquidity, with the US selling at $158.62 and buying at $156.50. For the Canadian dollar, moderate gains supported by $1.40 transaction spreads. The Canadian dollar sold for $113.79 and was bought for $115.19. The British pound had continued volatility, which offered short-term trading opportunities of $3.52 in profits for the banks. The British pound sold for $209.73 and was bought for $213.25. These movements underscore the importance of cash flow timing and currency awareness for businesses managing import costs, debt servicing, or overseas exposure. For our credit report tip of the day, there's a deeper layer to menopause, or the change of life many don't consider. During menopause, decision fatigue is real. And so having pre-established financial systems, including strong credit, reduces the need to make complex decisions under pressure. It creates stability when your internal state may feel anything but stable. For women in leadership, entrepreneurship, or wealth building phases, this matters even more, because menopause often arrives at the same time life is the most financially demanding. This is your peak career years, highest earning potential, maximum family responsibility, and critical wealth building window. Yet, very few financial strategies are designed with this transition in mind. So we need to ask better questions. Are women preparing financially for psychological transitions that impact earning power? Are we treating credit as a proactive tool, not just a reactive measure? Are organizations considering the financial wellness dimension of menopause support? Because this is bigger than credit. It's about designing financial resilience for real life, not ideal conditions. Menopause is not a pause, it's a pivot point. And that's today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing clarity to capital markets and strategy. Until next time, stay intentional and keep building forward. See you soon.
In regional news, Chairman of the Caribbean Community, Dr. Terence Drew, is calling for bold, action-driven engagement to strengthen ties between Africa and the Caribbean. Speaking at the inaugural Afri-Caribbean Investment Summit, the St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister stressed that deeper cooperation must move beyond diplomacy to deliver real economic opportunities for citizens of both regions. Addressing the conference under the theme Caribbean Perspectives on Unity and Prosperity, Dr. Drew said visionary leadership is critical to transforming long-standing historical connections into sustainable partnerships and global growth. The 7-day summit hosted in partnership with the government of St. Kitts and Nevis and Nigeria-based Aquarian Consult Limited, aims to establish a transatlantic trade corridor and advance the Reverse Middle Passage initiative to create direct economic links between the Caribbean and Nigeria. Dr. Drew says the Caribbean delegation brings purpose and opportunity to the table, positioning St. Kitts and Nevis as a bridge between both regions, while reaffirming a commitment to expanding trade, investment, and South-South cooperation. Caribbean leaders are moving to support Cuba's growing humanitarian crisis, with Grenada announcing a financial contribution to help fund emergency supplies for the island. The assistance forms part of a wider CARICOM effort to provide aid, as regional officials warn that instability in Cuba could have a serious ripple effects across the Caribbean.
And so Grenada, working along with the CARICOM heads through CARICOM, will support to the tune of US $500,000, $500,000 US, to be made available to the purchase of supplies, humanitarian supplies and aid to assist Cuba.
Grenada has joined the fellow CARICOM governments which are preparing to fund humanitarian aid to Cuba. Education Minister David Andrew made the announcement during the weekly post-cabinet briefing on March 25th, promising just over $1 million EC to Cuba. This follows the decision relayed by CARICOM Chairman Dr. Terence Drew at the 50th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government in St. Kitts and Nevis in February. During the meeting's opening ceremony, Dr. Terence Drew, the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, said the CARICOM community must address the humanitarian situation in Cuba.
For a destabilized Cuba will definitely affect the whole region. A destabilized Cuba will destabilize all of us.
Dr. Drew said that CARICOM must treat the issue with extreme focus while serving as a conduit for communication and dialogue to ensure a stable region. Though the delayed response has received heavy criticism from some parties, relief efforts are moving ahead through the CARICOM Secretariat in Georgetown, with member states funding the purchase of supplies. According to reports, the government of Mexico has identified suppliers and will facilitate delivery to the port of departure, while also providing free shipment to Cuba. Due to the embargo and oil blockade enforced by the Donald Trump administration, Cuba has not received oil shipments for several weeks. Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Cuba, Carlos Fernandez de Cosio, in a recent interview, highlighted the energy woes facing Cuba at this time.
It is important to point out that for any country to export fuel to Cuba is legal, and for Cuba to import fuel from any country, well, with the exception of the US because of the economic blockade regulations, but from any other country is legal. What's happening today is that the US is threatening with coercive measures countries that might export fuel to Cuba. And that's the reason why Cuba has not received fuel for a long time.
He was hopeful that clear minds prevail in the United States.
And that they come to the conclusion that it's quite nasty to treat the whole population of a country in the way the United States is treating Cuba. 96,000 Cubans are waiting for surgery as a result of lack of fuel and lack of energy. Among them, 11,000 children. So I would think that the American people, the people in the United States, would feel, why does our government treat the whole population of Cuba in this way? And I hope that the people of the United States would understand that it's not correct to treat another nation the way the US is doing it, simply to try to achieve political goals, because that is what's behind the approach of the United States. So again, we're trusting that this cannot be sustained in the long term.
China, Brazil, and Russia are also among countries and organizations that have responded to the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Cuba. I am Gerald Joseph reporting.
In sports, we begin with news from the Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championships. On Wednesday, all eyes were on the 100 meters favorites, Shanoya Douglas of Holland High and Rakeem Reed of Excelsior High, and they did not disappoint. Douglas produced a stunning run to capture the Class 1 girls title, clocking a personal best 10.98 seconds, her first time dipping below 11 seconds. She finished ahead of Edwin Allen's Alexi Henry and Renecia Edwards. On the boys' side, Reed showed his dominance, sprinting to a victory in 10.12 seconds. He held off a strong challenge from Tyrese Foreman of St. George's College and Edwin Allen's Omar Finnegan. In other sprint finals, Jamaica College's Kai Kelly secured the Class 2 title in 10.28 seconds, while Woolmer's boys Ajani Lindley took top honors in Class 3, stopping the clock at 10.72 seconds. In Cricket West Indies is warning that the rapid rise of global franchise leagues is putting growing pressure on the regional game. At its annual general meeting, leaders outlined concerns about player retention, sponsorship, and revenue, while signaling plans to restructure development, competitions, and facilities to secure a stronger future for West Indies cricket.
The Cricket West Indies annual report, tabled at last Saturday's 27th annual general meeting, is candid about the pressures facing West Indies cricket, from the rise of franchise competitions to concerns about player retention and commercial growth. The virtual AGM brought together representatives from all 6 full-member boards: Barbados, Guyana, Jamaica, the Leeward Islands, Trinidad and Tobago, and the Windward Islands, along with the West Indies Players Association, the Umpires Association, and Auditors Grant Thornton. In his president's message, Dr. Kishore Shallow warned that franchise cricket is reshaping the global game, and CWI is already feeling the effects on sponsorship, broadcasting rights, and keeping players. He called for an urgent rethink of how the region develops cricketers, from schools and clubs all the way to the regional stage. CEO Chris Daring echoed that, outlining 3 priorities: attracting top athletes earlier, restructuring tournaments for better financial returns, and upgrading training facilities across the region. The report frames 2025 as a year of transition, but insists CWI is focused on building a more competitive and sustainable future for West Indies cricket.
And that's the news on PBCJ. Thanks for watching.